What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you guys the full spoilers for Boruto Manga chapter 70. So let me explain to you guys real quick how this is going to work. So in my last video, if you guys saw it, I did cover a whole bunch of images that were leaked for chapter 70, and they weren't translated, so I tried my best to guess what was going on for you guys, so to provide you with some context. But over here now, thanks to Abdul Zoldik, by the way, for all of this, he posted a bunch of the images that were leaked, and he provided context of what is exactly going to be going on. So this will be better for that for you guys. So there's going to be some of the old panels I had in my previous video, but with context, and some new panels as well with context as well. And on top of that, he also went out of his way to make a bullet point summary of the chapter as well, which I think is 3 or 4 pages long. So pretty much everything that is important in this chapter is going to get covered here. So if you are interested in more of the bullet point summary, you can fast forward to later down this video, because I'm going to be covering the images first with the context that's provided, and then I'm going to move on to the bullet point summary. So let's have a look at this. Gonna scroll up. This is the chapter cover if you had not seen it already, and the title for the chapter is From the Bottom of One's Heart, or From the Bottom of My Heart, and it's a solo cover featuring Amado sitting on a chair. So let's have a look at these images though. So first one right here, these are new. These weren't revealed in my last video, but it says Kawaki is awake and talks to Sumire about needing this karma to protect Lord 7th. So it seems like Kawaki is still very, very obsessed with that one goal of protecting Naruto. So I'm going to do a quick skim of these images. I'm going to click them really, really quick for you guys, but I can't stay on them too long so I don't get striked for copyright. But here they are. And it's just pretty much them talking for, I believe, 4 pages. So that's gonna take up that. Over here we have Ada has her eye activated, so she tells Code that Kawaki is coming, therefore they have to retreat quickly. So seems like Kawaki did leave the hospital and figured out that something was going on. So Ada caught wind of that, and she knows that Code right now in his current state would not be able to take him on. So she pretty much encouraged Code to leave right now real quick with Amado, because Kawaki is on the way. And I do find this a little interesting, because shouldn't she have known also that Boruto's on the way, because Boruto could probably also take care of Code right now at this point. Just a little observation. I'm sure maybe there's a chance that she noticed him as well, or maybe Kawaki was just closer to the whole area. Maybe that's what it was, but just a little thing to wonder about real quick. Moving up, the villains retreat with Amado, and Shikamaru makes a last-ditch effort to stop Ada, but it's useless. So let me click these real quick for you guys. Amado's taken away. Shikamaru seems shocked. He tries stopping them. Maybe he tries to get Delta to help, but that doesn't happen either. And just before retreating, Ada manipulates Delta and makes her attack Shikamaru. Delta is still in love. So if I click this quickly for you guys, here you go. Delta's still in love right there, and she tries to go and kick Shikamaru, and Shikamaru actually dodges. So I do want to talk about that a little bit real quick. I think that's a pretty nice feat for Shikamaru to be able to dodge a kick from Delta. I mean, we don't know how strong Delta is right now, but that's no small thing, you know. That's pretty cool to see that Shikamaru is capable of doing that. I know some people are going to overthink it, some people are going to overlook it, but just a little observation. Moving up to here, Superstar entry by Kawaki, but he is too late. This panel I'm not going to zoom into because you can pretty much see everything right there anyway. And pretty much just like it says, he's a little too late. And I think we got a few more images to cover, and then we can move on to the summary. So the League of Villains, as he's calling it, Damon says, "Long time no see, old man." So you got Ada, Damon, and Code standing over Amado, who's on the ground, looking pretty worried. As you can see, he's sweating up top right there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Amado's fate is going to be in next month's chapter. Over here, Code's limiters are removed. He is now in full power mode. So again, I'll go through these really quick for you guys. Here he is. He transforms. And now even Damon was stunned. And pretty much the difference over here is that Code's hair kind of is rising like he's in... I know some people were cracking jokes that it looked like he was going Super Saiyan, and his eyes are a little different. And this last panel over here, here you go. And the last 2 pages that he posted, it says, Code is now at full strength, and the chapter ends with Code planning on killing Amado. So the big cliffhanger is this panel over here with Code having his hands out, ready to kill Amado, and that's where the chapter ends. I personally do not think he's going to kill Amado. I think Amado has more of a role to play in this story, but let me know if you guys think if Code will actually go through with this and kill him off, or if someone's going to save him. Let me know what you think. Let's move on now to the bullet point summary. Alright, so moving on to the bullet point summary. One more time, I gotta say shout out to Abdul for this, because as he said right here, it took them 5 to 6 long hours to translate this. So shout out to him, and let's have a look. So I wish I could zoom into this for you guys, but this image isn't letting me, so I'm sorry if you guys can't see it too well, but I'm gonna try to read it the best I can, as clearly as possible for you guys. So 4 parts to the summary. First part, chapter title, From the Bottom of One's Heart. The chapter begins where it left off last month. Shikamaru suggests to Ada that she should defect to Konoha in order to stay close to Kawaki. Shikamaru says, "Don't you think that's the best way to get along with Kawaki?" And the side text says, "The lab is in a state of chaos." Shikamaru suddenly proposes to invite Ada to Konoha. Ada then looks thoughtful and starts thinking about Konoha. The panel then switches to Amado and Code. Code then warns Amado, "Stop skipping out on your responsibilities." Immediately he confronts Ada about what she is doing. Ada doesn't look happy to be confronted by Code. Shikamaru immediately notices something different: Ada's left eye. So it seems like she has activated her eye. I believe it was called the Senrigan. I may be wrong. I hope they mention the name again later, just so I can know. But let's continue. Before the scene changes again, Ada's eyes are once again focused. Shikamaru, looking worried and also sweating, wonders what she's trying to do. Naruto appears running and heading towards Amado's lab. He uses the login password to enter the lab, but the door isn't opening. He wonders to himself if Shikamaru is safe. For not being able to enter the lab, he begins to scold himself. Suddenly, Shikamaru makes contact with Naruto, who is just outside the lab. Shikamaru says, "I'm trying to protect you from our enemy's technique, so could you please wait there for a moment? I don't have time to explain it right now." And he continues trying to convince Naruto that this is a delicate situation and he shouldn't get interrupted in there. I actually think this is a good move by Shikamaru, but one thing I am wondering is if Naruto really wanted to, can't they just pretty much bust through that door anyway, just by using a Rasengan or something like that? I'm not sure, unless this is like some crazy high-tech door, which I wouldn't be surprised if it is either, since it is in a lab and whatnot. So it could be. Boruto and Sasuke then suddenly appear right behind where Naruto is. So it seems like Boruto and Sasuke are also there. So the 3 of them have already arrived. And it says, Boruto says, "Dad." And then the scene switches back to the lab. Immediately, Ada realizes what is happening. Without batting an eye, she says that Naruto is outside and that the door has been locked for safety so that Naruto and others can stay away from her abilities. Shikamaru is shocked by her perception and wonders what that means. So I think Ada might have actually thought about the offer, but then she realizes now that Shikamaru might be trying to manipulate the situation, so she's not buying into it. But then it doesn't take long for him to realize and say, completely choked, it's Senrigan. Let's see. A little note here. I was really scared when Shikamaru mentioned it. It is understood that this power is already something known within the universe of Naruto. Although it's new to us readers, it's apparently not for the characters. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So it seems like they're aware of it somehow. I wonder if they're going to give a little context of that. Maybe they would, like in the anime, because they like expanding stuff there. But interesting that they do know about that. At the moment when Shikamaru thought about Senrigan, he is in a mental connection with Amado via Ino's jutsu. The impression it gives is that Amado didn't know about Ada's ability, but then he tells Shikamaru that she probably doesn't just see the present, but should be able to see things from the past too. So Amado pretty much figured it out really quick. Shikamaru believes that at least what they are mentally talking about cannot be heard. I think that would be a good assumption, but maybe she can even figure that out. Who knows? So let's move on to part 2. Again, I can't zoom into this image for whatever reason, but this one's a little shorter. So Ada starts talking about what they probably think of her, but then reveals that she has no reason to be Konoha's enemy in the first place. Shikamaru says that she can be relatively considered an enemy of Konoha since she is by Code's side. And then he asks what's the smartest choice, if it's Code or the village. The scene now switches back to Kawaki. Switches to Kawaki, who is already awake next to Sumire, who says, I am really glad that Boruto-kun is safe, Sumire says. Sumire continues trying to talk to Kawaki, who remains silent for a minute. This was a tough decision, wasn't it? The panel draws attention to Kawaki's karma. He then finally speaks. This fucking bastard Amado. He already restored the karma without my consent. They go on talking about karma and when Amado probably placed it on him. Kawaki also admits that the fact that he has karma now may be a result of his own desire to have it restored. Kawaki goes on a talk about being grateful that he had karma for the first time, because if it weren't for the mark, the 7th Hokage would probably be dead by now. The title is finally explained in the next line, when he realizes that he needs the karma from the bottom of his heart. Well, there we have it. That's why the title is that. So it seems like, there might be more of a focus on Kawaki in this chapter than we previously thought from the images that have been leaked so far. Sumire then begins to reflect and relay her thoughts to Kawaki on what she believes to be Amado's real intentions in this regard. Kawaki listens as she gives her thoughts on Amado's obsession, his karma. The scene switches back to the lab. Amado screams in pain as Code sinks his claws into his left shoulder. It's all your fault that things are going so slowly. Code demands that at this very moment for Amado to start saying the command in order to remove the limiters from his power. Amado desperately calls for Shikamaru in their mental chat to help him, but Shikamaru asks him to wait a little longer as Code won't kill him, as he needs him alive to remove the limiters. But Amado doesn't believe he can wait any longer. The panel focuses on Ada's eye one more time. This is big stuff because Amado might really crack, and as we can see from the images beforehand, he does crack, but not exactly then. But, he did say in previous chapters that he isn't good at taking torture, and that's clearly shown. In a desperate way, Ada lightly says she wants to go home. Code says, "What is wrong with you?" Ada then replies that Kawaki is coming. Code seems afraid at a certain point. Now he needs to rush to get his powers back with Amado. Shikamaru finally realizes what Code is thinking. Amado and Shikamaru are still talking via telepathy about Kawaki. The two begin to argue because now Shikamaru believes that Kawaki might be able to go head to head with Code and Ada. But he continues arguing that Kawaki shouldn't be in there. At this point, Amado looks like he's prepared for the worst. So, it seems like Shikamaru is actually favoring using Kawaki here, but Amado is not for some reason, which is kind of odd because You know, Amado's going through torture right now, but maybe this connects to, again, what Amado has to do with Kawaki in the first place. Like, why does he care so much about Kawaki and his karma? Why does he consider Kawaki so important to him? Maybe he knows something still that he's not revealing for whatever reason, and for some reason he seems like he doesn't want to have Kawaki participate in this battle here against the two. So let's move on to part 3, and here we are, and sadly I cannot zoom into this one again, but hopefully I can for the next one. Shikamaru and Amado continue their conversation still with Ino's jutsu. Code still has his claws punctured into Amado's left shoulder collarbone. Shikamaru and Amado begin to argue over what Amado is allowed to say and what he isn't allowed to say in front of the enemy, Code. Ino says, "Hey, you two, this isn't the time to be arguing." As Amado was having a conversation with Shikamaru, Code opens up a claw-marked portal and pushes Amado through. As Amado begins to descend into the portal, Shikamaru is shown to have a shocked expression. Code says, "Well, we'll just have to do it over there, and I didn't want to bring him into the lair." Well, it seems like Amado has been kidnapped. Shikamaru screams, "Amado!" And as Code is shoving and kicking Amado through the portal, Ada reminds Code to hurry before Kawaki arrives. Ada says, "Kawaki is almost here. Hurry up, Code." In an attempt to stop Code and Ada from kidnapping Amado, Shikamaru uses his famous shadow possession jutsu on both Code and Ada. However, neither Code or Ada are fazed by this. In fact, Code says, "What is it now, you idiot? Do you really want to die that badly?" Shikamaru stalls for time by telling Ada to wait or visit Kawaki and see for herself. However, Ada didn't play into Shikamaru's hand. Ada instead summons Delta, who is shown to be sitting on the floor with a blush-like look on her face, which clearly suggests that she has fallen in love with Ada. Ada says, "Delta, won't you help? As you can see, I'm in trouble." Shikamaru in a shocked manner says, "What?" Delta looks at Shikamaru with an intense face and proceeds to kick him, but Shikamaru manages to dodge Delta's attack with ease. As soon as Shikamaru dodged Delta's attack, his shadow paralysis jutsu retracted, allowing Code and Ada to successfully go through the portal created by Code's claw mark. Shikamaru is in a confused state, says, "What the hell are you doing, Delta? Get a hold of yourself." As Ada proceeds to go through the portal, she says, "I am sorry, Shika-chan. It's been a pleasure, but I have to say goodbye for now." Ada's head is sticking out from the portal, and her last words are for Delta. She says, "Delta-chan, thank you, and I'll see you soon. I love you." To which Delta replies back and says, "I love you too, Ada. You definitely have to come see me again." Delta, while having this conversation, continues to have that blush-like face. And that pretty much wraps up part 3. Let's move on to part 4, the final part, and see how this chapter concludes. Alright guys, moving on to the 4th and final part of this summary, and thankfully I can zoom into this one for you guys a bit, so hopefully you guys can see this one a little better than the last 3. Let's talk about it. Code is the last one to go through the portal, and before he goes, he has some words for Shikamaru. Code implies that Shikamaru must be prepared for retaliation once his name is now on his list. Okay, Shikamaru replies back, "Get out of here." Oh, and that's an interesting thing because it seems like, Shikamaru has made an enemy, it seems, and Code has yet another person on his list now. So now I believe he has Boruto for his sacrifice. He wants to kill Naruto and Sasuke, I believe. And on top of that, he wants to also kill Shikamaru now. So, just as Code's eyes are about to go through the portal, Kawaki makes his entry via the air duct. Code doesn't miss Kawaki's entry but proceeds to retreat. In front of Kawaki are just Code's claw marks, meaning that Code and Ada have managed to successfully escape with Amado. Kawaki and Shikamaru share dialogue with each other and talk about the incident. Kawaki mentioned that Code's, judging from the claw marks, has been here all this time. Shikamaru requests Kawaki to use Ishiki's dojutsu, Sukuna Ikona, in order to remove and destroy Code's claw marks to ensure that he doesn't infiltrate Konoha again. Kawaki tells Shikamaru that he is here to speak with Amado. Kawaki says, "So where is he?" Shikamaru says, Maybe he is already dead. Kawaki says, what? The scene switches to the lair with Amado sat down, and in front of him stands Damon, Code, and Ada. Damon is standing over Amado with his hands in his pocket. Code is standing behind on the left side of Damon, and Ada is leaning against a shelf counter on the right hand side of Damon. In the background you can also see Bug hiding behind the entrance. Damon welcomes Amado by saying, "Hey old man, long time no see." Amado says, "The guy with Code." "It's Damon. What the heck?" Amado just seems like, he's pretty stunned at this point. First Ada and now Damon. Everything's coming to bite him back, it seems. Code proceeds to pick up Amado and pin him against the wall, grabbing him by the collar and saying, "Well, there's nowhere to run now, so have you given up yet?" Amado asks about what will happen once he takes the restrictions off. Amado and Code share dialogues with each other. Amado doesn't trust that Code will spare his life after he removes the limiters. Code says to Amado that he's already on edge, and to test his patience will result in even more danger for Amado. Amado, seeing that Code is unwilling to negotiate, states, "The restrictions will be lifted immediately. I won't resist at all. In return, I beg you, please spare my life." Code, unpleased with Amado's response, calling him a man without any pride. Well, it seems like Amado has given up, and it seems like Amado is about to give in to Code's demands. Amado says that he's not interested in any of the crap and suggests to get on with it. Code gets closer to Amado and says, "You're a mouthy old man. Just get on with it and stop wasting your time talking nonsense." A moment of silence in the room. Damon and Ada haven't said a word since Amado and Code started speaking. They are merely observing. Code and Amado make eye contact for one final time. Amado finally tells a sort of command. As soon as Amado said those words, a cloud of smoke surrounded Code. He seemed to be in the middle of this cloud of smoke. In the next page, we see the smoke blowing everything away. Damon's hair has been blown back by the smoke and the wind. On the second half of the page, we see the smoke disappearing and Code standing in front of Amado with the backshot look of Code. We then see a full front view of Code's new design or look. His hair is now more spiky. However, the main difference is his eye, which now has way more detail, and not just the eyes but also around it. His pupils are circled sharply, new eyebrows on top and below the eyes. Everyone around the room looks stunned by Code's new transformation. Code stars at his Code stars at his incomplete karma and proceeds to clench his fist, suggesting that he now feels way more powerful than before. The second to last page of the chapter, and we have a full page dedicated to Code, Damon, and Ada. Code looks at Ada and says, "It's nice to feel as if you won't lose to anyone." The chapter ends with Code, whose limiters have been taken off, pinning Amado against the wall and telling him that, "I am sorry, Amado. The wound is hurting, right? I'll free you in an instant from that pain." The last page preview side text says, "Code's restrictions have finally been lifted. A deadly blade approaches Amado, who has just been used and served his purpose." So that wraps up all the events of chapter 70. Let me know what you thought of this full summary in the comments below. I personally think that this sounds like it was a pretty exciting chapter. I can't wait to see everything drawn up and for the full chapter to actually drop. And then as soon as that does, I'll have my review on it pretty shortly. But for now, let me know what you thought of this in the comments below. If you guys liked it, if you guys disliked it, is it okay? What are your predictions for chapter 71? And that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.